graphs that are complex that have maybe two charts, two information, a line graph, a map. So those are the things. Okay. So I will transit to the slide now so that
okay, so
we can start. Okay. Then after the class, then you get task on it and also on task. But most of you have not been doing your vocabulary development. It will be very challenging in this part if you don't keep doing it. Okay, so let me transit. Okay, so this is a two-chart. This is a two-chart analysis, and this is what I want to talk about this time. Okay, so in the two-chart analysis, just like any other graph, there are procedures. The first thing you do in the graph, number one thing is you need to, let me write it. Number one thing to do is write an introduction. And number two thing, highlight, okay, the things. And number three thing is discuss trend and comparisons. Yes, those are the things.
I can't see the screen, sir. What you're typing?
Are you sure about that?
Yes, sir.
Maybe your system is having problem.
I can see now.
Okay, I said that number one thing is to do is write an introduction. Yes. Number two thing is highlight the trend. That is, you need to identify the trend. Then you go, number three thing, you go into the discussion. And now you need to, in highlighting the, writing the introduction, you follow the information basically given to you from these highlights. Most of the time you have to rewrite it in one way or the other. If any form of additional information, but most of the time the information you need have been highlighted here. So you will write that in your introduction. This one is not part of it. The pie chart below shows information on the highlights of the level of education. Okay. On the highest level of education, yeah, of women. Okay, so you have to rewrite it. Okay, so that's the first thing to do. So I will write an example. So let me write introduction now. Okay. Okay, so let me say, I want to change some words. So, okay. Let me say, okay, the two pie charts given shows the Okay, I want to do it like this. Shows the different levels of education of women in Summerland in two different years. Okay, what are the years? 1945 and 1995. Okay, the two, let me see if it directly represents what you give information on the level of education. For me, I think this did not properly capture it. It gives the level of education, not only the highest level of education. It gave the different educational level of women in Summerland. So those some people who argue that you need to stick to what is given to you. So level of education of women in Summerland. Let me use it, what did it do here? The highest level of education. Okay, highest education of women. Okay, so for me, I will adjust it. I will say the different level of education and most prominently it is confusing. So I will use what is in the introduction alone. I do not really agree with it. Yes. So, but
Okay.
different, the highest qualification of women in Summerland in two different years, 1945 and 1995. Stick to the introduction if it is confusing. What the information you have been given, stick to it. Okay, so now the next thing is to identify the trend. I have written the introduction here. Okay, so the trend, it means you will have to write another paragraph for it. Now let's go and identify the trend. And one easy way to write about trend, especially for charts of the same, because it's telling you that this is the level of education in Summerland in 1945, women, and this is the level of education in 1995. The easiest way is to categorize those that have increased and those that have decreased. So you will see now, I want us to start from the lowest. The lowest in 1945 was 1%, and that was first degree. So you need to possibly jot something down, yes, about it. So the lowest was 1%, which was first degree, and by 1995, it had 50%. So it is easy like that. Okay, the next was 4%. And that 4% goes to postgraduate. There was a misspelling of the postgraduate here, 4%. And by the next this thing, it has increased by to 20%. Okay. Okay. And what do I call it now? Then the next one is this one in purple. I think that's year 9. Year 9 was 10%, but remained constant 10%. Okay. Then what's the next one? Year 6 was 15% but was not represented at all. So there was no year 6, sorry, year 6 15%, sorry. I'm not seeing it here properly. I think it is 0%, yes.
Yeah.
0%. Okay.
0%.
This one, 35%. What's that? Third grade was also 0%. Okay. So that is it. Which one? Sorry, I'm not writing it down. So let me quickly jot it down here. First degree. Okay, let me write increase. Okay, for those that increased. First degree. Okay, 1% to 50%. Okay, what's the next one? Let's go there again. Then which one? Year 12. Okay, year 12 was I think this color range is even affecting me. Maybe I'm not seeing it properly. Year 12 was 4% here in 1945, was 20% in 1995. So year 12.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Year 12, 4%, then increase to 20%. Okay, the next thing is which one then? The next one, 10, which is 10 is year 9, remain constant. Okay. So let me write it. No change. Year 9, which is 10%. Okay, no change. Okay, let me put it like that. Let me now write decreased. Decreased. Let me write it on another paragraph. It's getting smaller. On another slide. Okay. So this is it, decreased. Okay, so let's go to the next one now. Okay, then the one for green, year 6 was
Year 6.
Sorry, there's a problem.
15%.
My slide. What did you say? Okay, year 6 was 15% here.
Was 15%.
What did you say? Year 6 was 15%.
Was 15%.
You said 16. No.
15.
15. Yes. So by the next year, it was 0%. So decreased. Year 6, 15% to 0. Yeah. Okay, let's look at this one. Red, third grade, 35%. But third grade was 0% here. I think there are 3 that was 0%. Okay. Third grade. Okay. It was 35%, now 0%. 35% to 0%. Sorry. Okay. So I'm looking for another thing. Okay, that's it. Okay, there is one. Again, no schooling was 35% here, but reduced to 20%. No school. 35% to 0%. So those are the ones that decreased. No change, year 10%. Let me see if we have identified all of them. Then, yes, 1, 2, 3, 4. And there are 3 that are on 0% here. So we need to identify them. I think they are year 9. This place should have indicated coloring, but there was a problem. Okay, but in normal exam, it will be very clear. I think we have identified third grade. Third grade was 0% here. Year 6 was 0%. Yeah, year 6. Year 6, third grade, year 6. And which other one? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. I think, okay, postgraduate was 20%, first degree. Year 12, 20. Year 9, 10. Year 6, no schooling was 0%. Yes, we have described that in decrease. So we have identified it. So now let's go into the analysis. So you need to quickly do that in exam hall, quickly categorize them, because that will help your analysis. So you are now going to introduce the general trend. So for me, you look at it, first degree increased. I think I'm missing something. Postgraduates. Postgraduate 4%, 20%. So what am I missing? Where did I miss it? Yes, postgraduates. I know. Yeah, I missed postgraduate. Postgraduates. Let me see what happened to them. Postgraduate 4%. I think I highlighted it. Maybe I didn't summarize it properly. Okay, I think I'm mixing it together. The color is confusing to me. This is light blue. Okay, sorry, 35%. I am mixing something together. Deep blue, light blue, purple, blue here. This 20% is because of the confusion I am seeing. Is confusing me. Which one is the deep blue? This is the light blue here. This is the deep blue. I am not seeing. Deep blue is the, okay, where is postgraduate? Light blue.
Postgraduate, light blue.
Yeah, 4% to 20%. So where did I get year distance? Okay, 4%. I think year 12, I need to check it again. It's 4% to 20%. Okay. Okay, then which one is the second blue? I think the second blue did not appear here. This one, 35%, no schooling. Okay, it was no schooling. The second blue was no schooling. I'm trying to see it so that I don't mix this thing together. Okay, where did I get to year 12 here? Year 12. Oh, the color of blue and year 12 look so similar. I don't know the difference. They look so similar. So I will have to remove one, but nevertheless, in exam, it won't be like that. But let me go into the analysis. The major thing is you find the increase, you find the one, maybe I identified the trend. 1 did not change, 2 increased. So let me remove year 12. Yes, because it's confusing, I'm just removing it totally. So that's the way to analyze it. Then you will write, after the introduction, it means now you will write the overview. Okay, so you can say overall, are you with me?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Overall, more women were educated in the 1995 as against, or maybe you said literacy level increased over the 50 years between 1995, 1945, let me just put it like that. Overall, literacy, because if you notice it, many people went for higher education and there were decrease in number of people who were in the low grade education. You see, year 6 from 50% to 0, third grade 35% to 0, no school at all 35% to 0, first degree 1% to 50, postgraduate 4% to 20%. Even the one that we could not identify, which is the next after first degree, year 12, it was saying that's more like the secondary school. It was saying 4% to 20%, but the color was confusing, so I removed it. So generally, you need to find literacy level, okay, increased over the 50 years gap, literacy level amongst women. Women increase over the 50 years gap, okay, between 1945 and 1995. Okay. Okay. So the low level education, or maybe the entry level education, decreased. Okay, sorry, let me put it like this. I need to indicate it very well. The number of women in entry level education decreased, while those in higher or advanced education increased. Because I wanted to qualify it now, because they have a massive increase. I want to use a certain qualification for it. Overall literacy level amongst women increased over the 50 years gap between 1945 and 1995, and the number of women in entry-level education decreased considerably, okay, while those in higher education or advanced education had significant, let me just use significant, rise. Okay, so you have written your overview in this way. Introduction, the pie chart given shows the highest qualification, then you write an overview. So you can separate it in different paragraphs. Then you go to the next paragraph and you explain. So the first thing, please don't forget the introduction. The second thing, the overview, which will be in different paragraphs. And the third thing, you go into the introduction, into proper analysis and saying that the literacy level among women increased over the 50 years. Okay, the number of women in entry-level education decreased considerably. So you are now going to compare two things, because the overall thing was that the education improved. The next thing was that some education level decreased, some education level, okay, increased, okay, or the number of women in that education level increased. Now let's go to the next this thing now. So the next one is your general analysis and comparison. So that's what I will call it. The third thing is general analysis and comparison. So in this part, you know, a more detailed analysis shows that a considerable number of, okay, women in low level education, okay, okay, a more detailed analysis shows a considerable number of women in low level education moved or to higher level education. Okay, this is evident from the fact that, okay, women in, okay, then you start giving the figure. So women in, okay, so third grade education, okay, we're 35%. I'm talking about those who decreased now. Okay, sorry, which slide am I going into now? Okay, yes. Women in third grade education were 35% in 1945, but the number dropped. What was the number? I want to quote it now. Third grade education. Okay, let me say, yes, dropped. I said dropped, but the number became 0, meaning no women was in that level of education by 1995. Also, in similar fashion, hello, are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, I can hear you.
Also, in similar fashion, women with no education and year 6 okay, dropped significantly from 35% to 0%, from, okay, with no education, 35% to zero, okay, I don't need to put 0% here, and 15% to 0, and 15% to 0, respectively. You know why I mentioned respectively? Because I quoted two figures
We're talking about
representing
openness.
women in no education and women in year 6. A more detailed analysis shows a considerable number of women in low-level education move to higher level education. This, okay, I didn't write a good sentence here. This is evident from the fact that women in third grade education were 35% in 1995, but the number became 0, meaning no woman was at that level of education by 1995. Also, in similar fashion, women with no education and women in year 6 dropped significantly from 35% to 0 and 15% to 0 respectively. So we have analyzed comparison between the declines. Then you will now go and do an analysis on those that had increased. Because you can't, if you start talking about all of them generally, you will create a confusing mess. Okay, so you need to, when you are dealing with 2 graphs, you need to check what is the point of comparison there. Okay. In sharp contrast, okay, the advanced education, that is year 12, first degree, and postgraduate degree. Okay, you now present it very well. Yeah, I'm trying to see it. In sharp contrast, the advanced education witnessed more women. This is not properly presented, so I will rephrase it. In sharp contrast, more women backed advanced education. Okay. Okay. Advanced education of year 12, first degree and postgraduate degree. So in sharp contrast, more women back advanced education, okay, of year 12, first degree and postgraduate degree. I'm removing year 12 because the color is confusing, of first degree and postgraduate degree. So because I don't want to involve it in the analysis. Okay. So I will now state the figure. The figure has been highlighted here. Okay. Only as in, okay, this is evident in the fact that I have used in the fact, I want to remove in the fact, this is evident as 4% of women had postgraduate degree in some land in 1945. Writing figure is always confusing for me. This is evident as 4%. Yes, it's always confusing. It's evident as 4% of women had postgraduate degree in Summerland in 1945, but the number quadrupled to quadrupled by 1995 with 20% of women holding a postgraduate degree. A more considerable, a more quantum increase or was witnessed in the first degree category, yes, as there were just 1% first degree holder in 1945, but a whooping 50% was recorded in 1995. But a whooping 50% of women. Okay, if I said was recorded, or if I want to say 50% of women were, okay, let me just put it like that. You can frame it anyhow. So in sharp contrast, more women backed advanced education of first degree and postgraduate degree. This is not a complete sentence. Within the same period of time, or within the same period of time, yes, within the 50 years. I think I've introduced the 50 years somewhere, so I don't want to repeat it again. Okay, so that's it. In sharp contrast, more women back advanced education of first degree and postgraduate degree within the same period of time. This is evident as 4% of women had postgraduate degree in Summerland in 1995, but the number quadrupled, that is times 5. Is quadrupled 5? Quadruple is 4. I will need to change it. I'm not sure. If you are not sure of a particular one, you need to change it. More than, okay, but the number increased. Let me use another word. If I had got it, it would have been better than this. Increased more than 5-fold by 1995, with 20% of women holding a postgraduate degree. A quantum increase was witnessed, a more radical, yes, a more radical, or a more significant increase was witnessed in the first degree category, as there were just 1% first degree holder in 1995, but a whooping 50% was recorded in 1995. So there is only one category left. Okay, however, so I want to write the final one now. So I say, however, one category, okay, I've used category many times, one class of educational level, they do not change within the period of 50 years. Within the period of 50 years, let me now see it. Year 9, okay, year 9, year 9 level education remained the same at 10%. Okay, so that's it. You can see the first thing that I highlighted. The number 1 thing, introduction. Number 2, highlight the trend. Number 3, discuss it. I said it's very good you categorize increase, decrease. If there was no change, put there was no change on one side. Then you identify the major trends. Then you come and discuss. You need to use wide range of ways you portray your message, because if you're able to categorize your discussion, it will make you not to be confused. If you are now able to properly present it, it will score you more mark. I know that you will get a lecture slide of this. The lecture was fast, despite the fact that I was writing slowly. And you also get the video recording because I recorded it. Hello, Mr. Wale.
I can hear you, sir.
I hope you are able to tackle 2 graphs now.
Yes, sir.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's the way. Break it down, because numbers can be confusing if you want to start interpreting everything together. Find increase, find decrease, if there are 2 things. But I will still find time to do other tables that might not need to do with increase and decrease. Some might say the sales for this year and the projection for the next 3 years. So even in that, you will see which progression is better to treat it as which progression increased, which progression decreased. It will make you to have a, what do I call it? A coordinated discussion instead of discussing everything at the same time.
Okay, sir.
Yes. So I will send it. I will send the lecture now. This is a lecture for today. I will send the lecture. After the lecture, I will also send a task for you to do.
Okay, sir.
So we can go through your work, and then possibly we'll have one-on-one class from henceforth, because I will give a feedback on individuals' work separately.
Okay.
All right, sir.
Okay, so bye-bye for now.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
God bless you.
You're welcome.